Hi everyone, welcome back to Paisa Bolta. Hey, it's me and Keshav here today. Anand is out somewhere, so I thought me and Keshav will catch up with you guys here on the channel. Keshav has bought an interesting article I thought we'll talk about today, which is something to do with TCS and the changing conditions from the post-COVID world we live in. So what was the article about, Keshav? Tell me.
TCS has issued a memo to the workers that says that you have to come to office for that 12 days in a month.
No, I think if
So,
I'm right, no, I think if I'm right, what they're saying is even that they're reversing now. They're saying you have to come to office like how it was before COVID. No more
yeah,
work
sir.
from home.
Yeah, sir. Because it is a leading company in IT field. If the TCS follows this type of things to make their workers to come to office, will other companies will follow that too or not? What's your perspective on this?
Well, the problem is, I'll tell you what.
Hmm.
When before COVID struck itself, a lot of IT companies were giving flexibility for working from home. Meaning,
Yeah,
if
sir.
yours was not a critical role and if you could do your work from home, they would give you leeway saying, okay, if required for some reason you need to be at home, we will let you work from home. You could take a permission from your supervisor and work from home. Then, of course, COVID happened. When COVID happened, everyone was locked down, so they didn't have any other choice but to tell everybody, yes, you can work from home. I remember during that time, very proudly, TCS said, going forward, we might implement this permanently, considering the fact our productivity levels have not dropped and our productivity is very good, and
Yeah,
everyone
sir.
seems to be very happy. And overall, it'll bring our cost down because we won't need so many facilities. All these IT companies said we'll return the facilities back and we'll implement work from home going forward for everybody except for critical roles. Then COVID ended. Then they wanted to continue this work from home. But what they realized was most people were moonlighting.
Hmm.
Moonlighting
Yeah, sir.
means they're doing TCS on payroll. When they have free time, they will be doing other work too, which
Hmm. Yeah, sir.
even TCS cannot supervise when you're not in their office. When you're
Hmm.
inside their office, they can make sure you're not doing any other work. So, Keshav could be working for TCS, working part time for Wipro, then doing a third job on his own, doing a gig economy on the side. So, this became a problem. TCS didn't really mind that as long as your productivity wasn't going down. But productivity started also fluctuating, and then they started getting lots of complaints about a lot of their employees. So then TCS took a U turn and said, okay, everybody come back. Come back home. Come back to office. We don't want you to work from home anymore. So this is the problem. The problem is everybody in the IT sector. The issue is they cannot deal with the fact that you're doing this work and you're doing multiple other work. So you're not only getting TCS salary, you're getting some other side salary, and you're doing your own business on the side. And this kind of hurts the company. I don't know how much of it is really on productivity. I think that
Hmm.
can be argued. I think it's more like the guy feels ripped off because
Okay.
let's say I'm giving you a salary, I'm
Hmm.
saying you do this work for me, I'm giving you a salary,
Hmm.
but then you're doing other things also. Then I feel like, but why are you doing other things? You're working for me.
Yeah, sir.
But
Good.
this day, your generation, your attitude is different. Your generation's
Hmm.
attitude is whatever you're asking me to do, I'm doing. Have I
Yeah,
not
sir.
done it? If I've done what you've asked me to do, then what's your problem?
Yeah, sir.
I've done what you've asked me to do. I'm not failing to do that. Whatever
Yeah, sir.
work you're giving me, in the time I'm giving it to you.
Then what's your
Rest
problem?
of it,
Yeah, sir.
yeah, what's your problem? Rest of it is my
Hmm.
time. If
Hmm.
it happens to be in the middle of the afternoon, if it happens to be in the morning, it is still my time.
Hmm.
And wherever I'm sitting from, my work is done. Even if I'm sitting in middle of Dubai, enjoying my afternoon there, drinking chai, what's your problem? Work is getting done. Whatever
Hmm.
project you're giving me, I'm doing. I'm getting on all the video calls. I'm there. Client is happy. You are happy. My project leader is happy. No one
Hmm.
in my team is complaining. So why you complaining?
Yeah, sir.
That is the attitude of generation.
Yeah, sir.
While TCS,
After seeing this article, I also thought about that only, sir. Job is done,
yes,
then what's their problem? Hmm.
correct. So the idea of employment and job itself is going through a change. It's
Okay.
just not TCS. It is just not the software sector. This is happening throughout. all jobs. What COVID has done is your idea of a job, your idea of being employed is changing. So
Mm.
everything is now becoming like a consultancy kind of thing, meaning this work needs to be done, like a
Okay.
freelancer. We have
Mm.
this big problem in creative industry. In cinema industry, it's a big problem. Nobody wants to work full time. No editor wants to work full time. No
Yeah.
script writer wants to work full time.
Mm.
No actor wants to work full time. They all want to do on a day to day basis, project to project basis. So this kind of philosophy is spreading throughout in all jobs. So if
Mm.
you give me a job, that too now with AI coming in, if you're
Mm.
giving me a job and I do the job, you pay me for the job. Let's not talk about employment for a month. Let's not talk about, and so these negotiations are changing now. People don't want PPF, EPF, they don't want insurance, they don't want
Mm.
security, they don't want any other. They're saying,
Mm.
you pay me the salary,
Mm.
whatever,
Yeah.
consultancy tax, whatever you take away and you give me the net salary. After that, it's my problem how I file my tax, what I do. If I, so that idea is changing. What we consider as an employment is changing. So
Mm.
the way we think of getting a job and doing a job is changing. Before, in my generation, we'll think of a job as something which you do 9 to 5. You go to an office, and that is the only thing which you do, and you do that predominantly all your life. So if I did engineering, computer science engineering, I do a computer job, something related to software IT. If I did
Mm.
mechanical engineering, I do something related to that. But your generation is changing. Education is changing. What you study is changing, and it
Yeah.
speaks volume of what this world is right now.
Mm.
So this is what TCS is struggling with, because how do you keep someone, say they're an employee, what is defined as an employee?
So
A
the
contract.
TCS, if other companies are also going to follow what TCS did, just make their workers to come office, will the real estate business get
That is a big
back to its
push
track
in a
also?
city like Bangalore, where I'm staying here right now.
Okay.
The big
Okay.
push to people to come back to office has been coming from the real estate sector, because a
Okay.
lot of offices have been built, a lot of
Mm.
IT places facilities have been built, and they're
Yeah,
still
sir.
under construction, lots of them. And now, let's say, because of COVID and all this, now everyone's comfortable from working from home. Nobody
Mm.
comes to these offices. What are you going to do with all this real estate?
Yeah, sir.
What are you going to do? What are you going to, how are you going to refit the, you can't. So the real estate sector as a whole has been leaning on the government, saying, boss, you better tell these IT guys to come back to work.
Ah.
And
Mm.
government has been leaning on TCS and all the IT companies, saying you better make sure everybody comes back to work, because we do not know how to run the country, run a city now in this new economy. Everybody wants it to go back.
Mm.
Everyone wants it to be pre-COVID, where most people are going to office and working. The city was full of people going to office. Now you
Yeah,
don't
sir.
need to have that. Really, you don't need to have it. Case of like how
Mm.
you and me are sitting and doing our work. You are sitting right now in Chennai. I'm sitting in Bangalore. We're doing a video. Our editors
Mm.
don't have to be sitting in an office. He can sit in his house. All you need is a good internet connection. If you
Yeah, sir.
have a good
Whatever the
internet
job is going
connection,
to be done. Ah.
yeah. So you can do your work from anywhere. So the question now is, why do we need to sit here, especially in an office, and do it? So till the change is always slow. Our
Mm.
government always plays catch up. Our
Okay.
policies always play catch up. Even in big
Mm.
companies like TCS, they
Mm.
change very slowly. Though society
Okay.
is changing much faster, thought
Mm.
processes are changing much faster nowadays.
Yeah,
These
sir.
guys will catch up. Eventually, I think maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, this idea of going to an office and sitting and working may not be there for lots
Okay.
of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Most jobs will employment will be on a case to case basis. Even when you work for Swiggy or you're doing a gig economy, you
Mm.
turn on your app. Right now, I need some money, so I turn on the app. I'm on Swiggy employment. I'm on Swiggy time and I do delivery. When I switch off the Swiggy app, I'm not working for Swiggy anymore.
Yeah,
you
sir.
know that's what's going to happen more and more. You're not going to see people wanting to be, especially in your generation and younger, having a
Mm.
job full time and being like a slave to somebody. The way you see it is, I'm like a slave to you. You can do whatever you want. I come to office 9 o'clock. TCS is,
Yeah, sir.
a lot of people in TCS are doing that right now. There's one of the biggest, last year they recruited, had the biggest recruiting happening. They still rated
Okay.
one of the best companies to work for. but a lot of their people are benched, meaning they're inside TCS, they're employed by TCS, they're getting a salary, but they don't have any work right now. There's no project. So when you don't have a project, there's
Hmm.
two problems when you don't have a project. One, you don't get your full salary.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, you only get partial salary. And
Hmm.
second is you don't have anything to do. It's very boring. Imagine
Ah.
Kesar, I ask you to come and sit in office and you don't know what you're going to be doing. You're just sitting there. And especially in software, if you don't keep
Hmm.
using software every day, if you're not doing it,
Hmm.
you do not know what's happening.
Okay.
It's a big
You have to be
problem.
touch with that. Ah.
Yeah, let's say you're using editing software. You
Hmm.
don't use Adobe Premiere for 2 years. The software is updated 3 times. Now, like
Hmm.
Photoshop, it has so many new features. If you not use Photoshop for a couple of years, you won't know what even you're doing with it.
Yeah, sir. True.
So that's the same problem for all IT guys. They need to keep working. If you don't keep doing IT work, you
Hmm.
become very irrelevant very fast. And for any IT guy, his productive years are like 10, 15 years. After the age of 45 and all that, you
Hmm.
are a managerial role. You cannot sit and do programming, per se. Most people don't.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
younger
Yeah, sir.
generation is much smarter, much faster, and you can't keep up with it. It
Yeah,
happens
sir.
to everybody. So it's an interesting article. Yes. TCS wants everybody to come back. I
So
don't
if we
know.
look at the other side, even Amazon and Meta also claims their workers to come and work in the office. So it's changing everywhere. As we spoke just earlier, you said after 5 to 10 years there won't be anyone who comes to office and work. But when I see this change, that even Amazon, Meta, TCS are also doing this, I think it will be like pre-COVID. In some days,
You
it will
think
be
we'll
like
go back?
pre-COVID.
You feel
Yeah, sir.
we? I don't know.
I'm thinking like that.
I'll tell you what. The
Hmm.
biggest problem is for TCS, Amazon, and any of these companies is, let's say I'm making a salary of 20,000 rupees in TCS before
Okay.
COVID. Now
Okay.
TCS, I'm making the same 20,000 rupees, but after doing this work from home, I realized I can do gig economy on the side with my TCS job, and I'm making an additional 30,000, 40,000 rupees. Now the question becomes, hey, should I give up that extra money which I was making, and I might
Okay.
like that work even more? Would I want to give all that up, go back to TCS? How many people are there? I don't know who are in that boat. Maybe you're right. Maybe majority of the people will come back. Maybe I'm wrong,
Hmm.
but I don't know. We'll have to wait and watch
Yeah.
and see what happens.
True. Yeah. Thanks for your time, and I just want to hear your perspective on this.
I hope my perspective was of use.
Yeah, sir. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you, Keshav. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us in Paisa Bolta today. Please do subscribe to our videos and turn on the bell notification icon. So anytime we come up with a new video or new content, you'll be notified and you'll be able to watch it with us. Thank you again for joining us today on Paisa Bolta.
पैसा बोलता है में फिर से आपका स्वागत है। जैसे मैंने अपने दूसरे चैनल में बताया आप लोगों को, मैं 11 जून रविवार कोलालमपुर मलेशिया में रहूंगा। उधर शेरेटन इंपीरियल होटल में मैंने एक मुलाकात अरेंज की है। उधर शाम 4 बजे से लेके 7 बजे तक मीटिंग रखा है। जो भी उधर आप मुझे मिलना चाहते हैं उधर आप आ सकते हैं। ये लिंक नीचे दबाने से एक व्हाट्सएप नंबर और ईमेल आईडी मिलेगा जहां आप हमारा टीम से संपर्क कर सकते हैं और डिटेल्स आपको देंगे। ये पिल सिटी मॉल के पास है, जलान सुल्तान इस्माइल एरिया में है, कोलालमपुर मोनो रेलवे स्टेशन इसके पास है। धन्यवाद, नमस्कार, जय हिंद।